All right, here I am. Hopefully, some of you will be joining. I know I've published this just a day or two ago, but I wanted to jump on live with you, my followers, my stepsons, and all of you that are watching. Let me know if you would in the comments where you're joining from, uh, and if the audio is coming through okay, if you would. Um, but I'm excited to be here. I don't know how many people will be able to jump on a Friday afternoon or noon if you're Pacific time. But wanted to get on and do a little Q&A, both some that I've got from questions that have come in, and if anyone joins and wants to ask some questions, then we'll take a crack at those too. One of the, where are you joining from? All right, I should know. Why won't it put my, okay. Oh, that's why, chat. Let's see, let me know where you're joining from. Okay, there we go. So, I hope you'll be patient. I appreciate you being patient with me as I figure out this live streaming process here in YouTube. I've done these on Instagram, and that's pretty much it. I've done them here when I've played Rocket League with some of you. I know I haven't done that for a few months, but I did want to know. Well, I wanted to do a Q&A session here because one of the biggest challenges of growing up without a dad is not having someone to ask questions to, that you've got questions that would be appropriate for a dad and maybe difficult for someone else to answer. So I wanted to give you that opportunity. And along that lines, I've compiled a number of the questions that have come in to past posts, past interactions I've had with people. And I can start with those, and then we'll see if anyone else is there. Now, I'm not seeing anyone in the chat. So if anyone is, oh, I do have, it does show I've got a couple. So, okay, good. If you are here, let me know in the chat where you're joining from. And I'd love to know that the audio is actually working. I'm outside, as you can tell. I had to turn around. I like the green background better, but the sun's over here right now, so it's better if I'm facing this way. So you get to see the back porch. But let me know if the audio is coming through okay. And I don't know if I've got a setting on here, participants. Okay. Pop out chat. Oh, that's that. I don't want that. Oh, there went a graphic. All right. Well, I guess I won't be using that one. All right. Great. Thanks. I'm glad to know. All right. So let me jump in. This channel is geared for young men growing up without a dad. That's how I grew up. And I know it's got a lot of challenges. In fact, I got an email last night from a follower who is a singer-songwriter who sent me a song that was pretty impressive. And I want to reply to him. That was on a different platform. But he's written a song about the challenges of growing up and your dad not being there, and which was amazing. I appreciated the fact that he sent it to me because he's following me on what I'm doing here. I hope that those of you that are growing up without a dad know that you can still succeed. And what I mean when I say that is you can overcome those challenges and those disadvantages. When I was growing up, when I entered adulthood, all through my adult life, you feel like you can rationalize that out. In other words, you can logic your way through the challenges. But the real challenges are emotional, and you have to deal with the emotions to really get over them. But you can. So don't give up. Work through those emotions, because you can experience the fulfillment of having your own family life, happiness. It looks like the wind's going to make the camera shake, which is probably less than ideal, but I guess it is what it is at this point. I'm going to put that there, maybe stabilize it a little bit. But you can experience those things as a dad yourself, even if you didn't get to experience them as a son or as a child growing up with your dad there. So don't give up on that. You can do that, and it's worth the effort. That's where most of the happiness and the fulfillment and the joy and satisfaction of life is going to come from, is in a family relationship. not in a professional career or something like that. Those are important, those are good, but that's not going to replace a family. So, with that little bit of an introduction, let me jump in. I've kind of covered the comments here. If you have any comments or questions you'd like me to do my best to address, then drop them in there. And otherwise, I'm going to go ahead with these. And most of you are probably going to be watching this as a recording that comes in later. So, for those of you that do get on the live, if you got questions, drop them in there. So, let me jump in with the first question that I thought I would address. So these are different questions that have come in. I made a post that said, what would you ask your dad if you would? A lot of how-to questions come up. And that's why I like YouTube for this channel, or for this means, because it's easy to make videos. Well, it's not easy, but compared to describing it verbally, it's a lot easier to make a video to show you how to do something than to try to describe it or talk you through it to get you to figure out how to do it. So I've got a lot of videos already on the channel that have to do with how to do different things. So those are great for those types of questions are great for how-to videos. I wish I could make more of those. It takes time and effort to do that. And I have too many bottlenecks right now. I'm working on those, but hopefully I can, if I don't have a video on your how-to questions, I can get one made and get it out to you to help you with that. But some of the other questions that come up are things of this nature. For example, personal and emotional development, health and well-being, relationships, and personal reflections. Those were some categories of questions. I'm going to address a couple of those. And then if you have questions that you want to drop in the chats, or I think there's a way to do a Q&A. Let me just see if I can start a Q&A. I don't know what the difference is here, but there are questions here. This is what happens when, so I've started a Q&A and I don't know what the difference is between that and the regular chat, but I've got one open if you'd like to drop some questions in there. So let me just take some of these and then I'll see if any questions come in, and we'll go till I get tired of talking or you guys all leave, and we'll see how it goes. So first question, how do I build a foundation for long-term stability? And that's a great question. That shows that whoever's asking that question is interested in having stability in their life. And that's something that if you grew up in a single family household or a single parent household, you may not have sensed a lot of stability in your life. So that the fact that you're asking and wanting to have that stability is a good thing. So what are the components that make for a stable life? It's got to start with you, for starters. You need to deal with your emotional stability and your physical stability, or the world around you, whatever stability you can get in there. So I'm going to tell you, you need to start with learning self-discipline. There's a talk on the internet that's kind of famous, an admiral, I don't know his name, called "If You Want to Change the World, Start by Making Your Bed." And there is so much truth to that, and it's so easy to hear that and think, oh yeah, that's great, and that makes for a great YouTube video or a talk at a commencement exercises, but it's not really real. But guess what? It really is real. If you don't make your bed every morning or have some level of discipline in your life, start there. That's where you need to start. So if you want long-term stability, start by short-term stability. Start with a habit that's going to generate a positive outcome, like making your bed every morning. So if you're not doing that, start doing that. Now, I think I posted it not too long ago, but if you want to have stability in your life, you need to have that self-discipline for yourself. Learn and manage self-discipline is going to go a long way. And the whole first section of the book, The Map to Manhood, is about the path of self-discipline, learning self-discipline, because that is one of the areas of life that you're at risk of not developing if you grew up and your dad wasn't there, or you didn't have mom and dad to help raising you. The reason being, raising kids is a ton of work. My wife and I raised 5 kids by ourselves together. And it felt overwhelming many, many times. So lower that to one, like my mom raised 5 kids by herself, and you just get worn out. It's too hard to help your kids learn the self-discipline because you're worn out. So the risk is that you're not going to learn the self-discipline that you need to be successful in your life. So if you want long-term stability, start by developing self-discipline in your own life. Start by making your own bed every day, get to where you can do that, and move on. Now, the next thing is going to be developing social skills, because that's going to be important for you to interact with other people, which is going to add stability in your life. You can't go through life not talking to people, nor do you want to, and you've got to learn to do that. And that's another area of risk, which, by the way, is another path in here in the book The Map to Manhood. Now, this is not just to be a commercial for the book The Map to Manhood. It's really literally trying to answer the questions that have come in and come up. So start with self-discipline, add to it social skills, and then you want to put on top of that money management. Start earning income and then managing your money well. And those 3 areas will give you a good foundation for long-term stability. All right, so that's hopefully not too long-winded answer to that first question. All right, there's another question. How can I be a better man? And that's an obvious question for this audience. If you grew up and your dad's not in your life, I remember worrying about that consciously as I was an older teenager and staring at, hey, I'm going to graduate from high school. What do I do next? Had ideas of what I was going to do. You start worrying about, am I capable? Am I going to be successful? I don't know. And I don't have my dad here to show me how, or to be that role model, or to help me gain some confidence that I'm going to be successful and know how to do it. So it's an understandable question, a good question. And so what's the answer? How can I be a better man? There are 4 areas that I think you're at biggest risk of not learning if you don't have a dad to help show you how to be an adult, to be a good man. The first one is self-discipline. So we talked about that in the first question. The second one is the social skills. Stretch yourself. It's scary asking a girl out on a date the first time. It's scary asking a girl out on a second time, or taking a relationship to the next level. It's scary going for that first job interview. It requires you to get out of your comfort zone. But that's where the growth is going to be. So maybe the short answer to that question is, how can I be a better man? Is look at where you're afraid to get out of your comfort zone and do it. Try it. Do it anyway. So courage is not being afraid. Courage is being afraid but acting anyway. So you've got to step out of your comfort zone to experience some of those things that are going to give you the skills to succeed as an adult. How can I be a better man? Develop the self-discipline yourself. Part of that is education too, is self-education, learning where you need to improve yourself and taking efforts in doing it. Social skills is one of them, and those are not unrelated. The next one is learning how to love. That's the third path in the book, The Map to Manhood, and that's a big area. You cannot be the dad for your kids or the husband for your future wife that your mom didn't have or may not have had, or that you want to be, if you don't learn how to love. And one of the biggest challenges for kids that grow up without a dad is feeling that love from a dad. I was really fortunate because I had a guy by the name of Mark Gould. He was in my neighborhood. He was over a youth group that I was involved with when I turned 12. And he took me under his wing, and not just in the capacity of this group, but he really cared about me, and he helped care for me. He would come over and help show me how to do things. My mom's car needed the brakes changed. He came over and showed me how to change the brakes, right? I didn't have YouTube back then. The internet didn't exist. But Mark was there, and he came over and showed me stuff like that. He gave me, the biggest thing for Mark did, though, was not show me how to do stuff. It was really, he cared about me. I felt his genuine love for me. Well, that gives me the capacity or the ability to start thinking, well, maybe maybe I am worthy of love. If my dad's not in my life, then you're questioning what's wrong with you that your dad wouldn't even care about you. So learning how to love and learning how to love yourself is going to be a key component to being a better man. And then the last area is really having a purpose in your life. What is your purpose? Finding out. Right now, you guys are my purpose. We've raised our kids. I'm not working in my profession anymore. You guys are my purpose, right? I want to help you that have grown up without a dad learn that you can still successfully navigate adulthood. Even though your dad wasn't there, you can overcome the challenges that you faced and face, and you can become a contributing member of society. You can become a good contributing adult man, and you can become a good husband and a good father if that's what you want to do. And I hope you do, because you're going to have more fulfillment and happiness in those capacities than in anything else. So another long-winded answer for how can I be a better man? All right, I've been going on here monologuing for 15 minutes, and hopefully this is value. I've seen some people pop in. If you're joining and you're on and you have a question you want to ask, drop it in the Q&A section. I'm going to take one more of these that I have, and then invite those of you that are watching this replay to add your comments to the replay. Send your questions if you've got them, and I'll do this periodically, but I'm really hoping to create a way that you can jump on and ask questions, maybe not in a live stream, but in a more a semi-more private environment. I've set up some subscription levels, kind of like Patreon, where if you want to join and get to the bloopers reel, you can do that for a small amount. If you want to get to an Ask Dad Live level of support, like Patreon, then I'll have a link in the description for this, and you can join. And that does two things. That gives you an opportunity to help to come and ask those questions on a regular basis in a non-live stream environment. And it also will help support this effort so that I can do more with this going forward. So check for the link where you can subscribe for those. And I'm going to take one more question that I've got from others. I didn't bring my glasses, so I have to hold it at arm's length. How did you love and show affection? So that's a good follow-on question to the discussion I was just having. One of the biggest risks that you and everyone that's grown up without a dad, and even more so today for you young men, because there's a lot of messages out that men are inherently bad or you need to be fixed. I didn't have that when I was growing up. I had a lot of the personal questions that, if my dad doesn't love me, is there something wrong with me? Why does my dad not want to be here with me? I want to be a dad because I want to have a family, but I don't know if I'm going to know how to do it. And how am I going to learn to show love and affection to my wife when I have a wife? Those are real questions, and that's this one here. How do you love and show affection? Well, let me give you a kind of a fun answer, and now would be a great time for my cat. I'm going to see if you can. No, I can't. Up there on the porch, you can kind of see my cat there in the background. I put him on here now, and I'm glad he's asleep, because if he's walking in front, it's more of a distraction. Here's one way you can learn to love and show affection more, is get a pet. If you don't have a pet, get a pet. A cat or a dog especially, because either of them are more affectionate by their temperament, their nature, and for us. It's hard you can't hug a goldfish. Goldfish don't purr, dogs don't purr, but cats purr. Dogs look at you like they're happy. They wag their tail when they come. They're excited to see you. When you have a pet and start taking care of a pet, you're practicing the emotion of love. All right, sometimes it's hard to do with our families and our friends because we have arguments, we have disagreements, and that's what we remember and we focus on. That'd be the next step. But start by getting a pet and learning to love your pet. And you got to be responsible. You got to take care of it. If you love someone, or in this case, something, then you need to make sure you're taking care of your pets. So that's one way you can practice that emotion of love. So I'm going to wrap it up with that, but let me invite you, if you haven't downloaded there's a guide, the Map to Manhood guide. Go to maptomanhood.org. It's what this book is written about. It's not the book, but it's the graphic that goes with the book. It's probably in here somewhere, but go to maptomanhood.org and download that map, because that gives you the lessons and a lot of actions that you can just look at them and know, okay, well, that's something I need to do. I can start doing it. If you want the more direction, go get the book. There's a link to the book in the description too, but you can get the book that talks about that. If you want to have some Q&A, then look for the subscription level, the Ask Dad subscription level. There's a link to that as well too. I don't want to throw a bunch of stuff at you, but mostly what I want you to know is what I say on the end of every video. You can still succeed, even if your dad hasn't been in your daily life. You can overcome the emotional challenges and the practical ones, and you can become a fantastic husband, father, adult man, adult woman for my stepdaughters that are on this channel too. You can still get through all of those disadvantages and succeed. And the most important thing I want you to know is, just like Mark Gould cared about me, I really do care about you guys. You do have a dad that loves you, and I will see you on the next video.